We've actually had conversations as to the messaging framework that we're building. Once we build it for clients, we can actually train AI to use that framework so it can pump out content. But at that point, it's pumping out content based on their actual message.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk About Real Estate. Today we're going to talk about life, business, and of course, real estate. Today I have Stephanie here with me. She is making waves in her industry. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's just dive in. Tell us a little bit about you. What do you do and everything that has to do with Stephanie?
Yeah, so I am co-owner of a business called Cast Design Team. We do branding and marketing. We've been around for 10 years now. We celebrated last year 10 years.
10 years.
Pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
That I know. I can't even believe it. Like, people tell me, that's so good. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. That is good. Yay, me.
That is such a huge milestone. That's insane. You're like, oh, yeah, it's just 10 years.
10 years, you know, nothing. But we really focus on small to medium businesses. We've started to get some bigger clients, which is really awesome, like larger contracts and even government contracts, which is really awesome. But our main goal is to help businesses with their messaging. Like, how are they talking about themselves, and are they getting their message across? How can they craft a message that gets received by the person that they need to in order to get the right audience?
Nice. Why did you choose this path? What caused you to go on this endeavor?
Yeah. So in high school, I went to a magnet school. I don't know if you're familiar with what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I studied graphic design. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I want to do animation. I want to work for Disney. But I don't know if you've ever done an even video. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that. It takes forever to render, and I'm a very impatient person. So I was like, no, let's not go that route. So I studied graphic design in college. And then after that, I started working for industries like the news station, shirt printing, and things like that. And eventually, my partner and I both got fired at the same time, which was also an interesting story. Yeah. And so
that happens.
It does. It very does, especially when you're very vocal and you tell the business owner how to run their business. And obviously they don't like that. So we were very vocal and like, oh, you should be doing this and this. So they didn't like that. They did get rid of both of us. So we looked at each other and we're like, you know, we don't like that somebody else can control us and control when or like our money, just everything that's to do with it.
Your hours, when you can use the restroom,
Yes.
how you need to talk to a client. So you, from the jump, pretty much knew that the way that you're running your business sucks.
Yeah.
You don't like that I'm telling you that it sucks.
Yeah. You're not even willing to hear me. So from that moment, we were like, let's just build our own. I did have at that moment one of my friends who was a freelancer. So she had her business doing graphic design and websites. And so she was kind enough to kind of take me under her wing and tell me how to kind of start the business and run it a little bit. So she helped me in that. And then we started the business with me and my partner / wife. And we've been going ever since.
For 10 years.
For 10 years, yeah. Just 10 years.
Just 10 years.
Just 10
That's what was it like starting that business, you know, from leaving pretty much a W-2 job and then pretty much going as a 1099 individual and just going head in. What did that look like? What was your first year? The
first year was take on everything and say yes to everything.
Yeah.
It's very hectic. It's a lot of learning during that stage, I feel. A lot of learning as to what do you like, what do you not like, even from clients, like understanding boundaries and I can't even tell you what the first year was, but I do know
it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of figuring out even who I as a business was at that time.
Yeah,
because
you were just starting.
To do. Yeah. I'm like, oh, people would tell me, can you do this? I'm like, sure. I'm gonna figure it out. You know, I'll figure out how to do it. And it was a lot of doing a lot of things for free. Like I remember I would do things and like not get paid a lot. So learning boundaries were really the first to 3 years, I would say.
But I think it's so amazing because, you know, starting a new endeavor like that, especially to go out on your own and start your own business, I'm sure that there was countless times where you questioned yourself. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Should I quit? should I go back to a W-2 where it's secure? I don't have to worry about how I'm going to go find my next client. I don't have to worry about if I'm being productive. I don't have to give myself out for free. Why am I giving myself out for free?
Yes.
And in doing that, you push through it completely. From first year to second year, what did it look like?
From first year to second year, it was really a lot of kind of doing the same thing, to be honest, but a bit more structured in what my services were and my price points at that point, because I knew how long it would take to do like a business card or how long it would take to do a website, what my resources were. So pricing and services really were during that second year of like structuring it.
So it doesn't happen instantly, right? So when somebody,
you can have an idea of what you want to do, but when you take it to market, it's like, oh, that doesn't work the way I thought it was going to work.
Wow. Imagine that.
It just
But you knew that you couldn't do something anymore because that wasn't working for you. So, but
it
you wanted
an
to help
option really
others.
For me to go back. Like I think that's one of the things that kept us going is that for me, it was never an option to go back and work for somebody.
That's beautiful.
All. So how do I make this that I'm trying to build work?
Because this is the only thing that's going to work.
And it's the only thing that I have control over. Because if it fails, it's my fault.
Who do you help? What is your client? Like, what does your client look like for
So a lot of times my clients are either in other creative industries, such as software, technology, anything that's to do creative. I'm trying to think. I have one client that what they do is they build like solutions for Broadway shows and they build cases. Or it's either a service-based business, because with service-based businesses, it's like, well, how can I translate what I sell, because it's not tangible,
right,
into something that is tangible? Those are the main ones that I've seen. Not so much trade companies for some reason. Well, I understand why too, but trade companies, they're more of like, we do plumbing. How how different can the plumbing be from what we do? Like, how much branding is there in that? But yeah.
And what does the branding look like? Like, what realistically does branding do for a business, right? Like, I have my brand. This is who I am. It's part of my team. My actual my team leader is the one who founded this brand and kind of made it him, and I wear it proudly. It's what I am. So I'm a fan of branding, right? I think that it's very unique. It's very homage to who you are and owning what you're doing, right? Is that pretty much for businesses as well? I would assume that. Yes.
So the thing, especially with what businesses understand, is branding is the visual side, and that's like step 2. The first step that businesses need to think about is their messaging, like their messaging strategy. So like, what are their values? What are their stories?
Who are they reaching?
Who's their target audience? What are the pain points of those target audiences? Why are you in business? Like, what's your, there's so many structurally, the messaging is what goes first. And then once you have that messaging in place, then you create the brand. You create the visual so that it goes along with that messaging. And the messaging even bleeds into every piece of collateral that you put out there, the website, how you talk to people, the marketing that you do, because what you're doing is you're establishing who you are and being solid on that foundation of who you are. So when people see your brand, they're like, oh, this brand cares about their customers. This brand, they show it too. Because a lot of businesses also get that wrong. They say, oh, I care about my customers, and then they don't call them back, or they.
And then they have that bad reputation where you see that sign and you're like, absolutely not. That's something that I deal with a lot of rental companies. One of the mainstream rental companies like Progress Residential and Tricon and things of that nature. They're very pretty much the main corporate industry leaders of the rental industry, and they have a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths just because of the way that they do business, the way that they choose to respond to customers. But they have a brand, they have a signage, they have, you can recognize them. But to your point, when you do business that isn't in the favor of who you're serving, it does put a bad taste in people's mouth. And then they recognize that, they see that, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really establishing who they are before they even get to pick their signage and what they are. It's really finding their core fundamentals.
Yes, exactly. The core
And you help them
fundamentals.
in that journey is pretty much helping them figure out like, this is your target audience. How are we going to take care of your target audience and what that looks like for them?
Right. How are they going to know about your values so that they're able to compare you in a more like comparing apples to apples? Like once they understand you, they can understand your competitor and make the right decision based on comparison. Like if they don't know that you do something special, but you know you do something special, but you're not saying that in your marketing items or when you're talking to people or sales, then how are they going to make the right decision when they go to your competitor? Because your competitor is probably going to say what makes them different.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what makes your company unique.
What makes our company unique are a couple of things. So you're directly talking to us. You're not talking to like a project manager. A lot of times with agencies, there's always a project manager between. You don't actually get to talk to your designer or your the people that's actually going to work on your stuff.
Right.
So you directly with the designers. The other thing that makes us different is depending on the project or what you need, we also assemble a team. So we specialize in a couple of things, but if they need, video production, photography, custom coding, we've already vetted those creatives and bring them into the project so that they get a holistic experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other thing that we're known for is transparency. So if I can't take on your project or I can't do something, I will tell you straight out and also tell you what the results are that I expect.
So you'll be honest in this entire transaction. You'll pretty much tell somebody, hey, I don't think that this can work for the mission that you have set out, or I can't help you in your mission, and here's why. And instead of taking on that task and then pretty much disappointing them and then almost ruining your reputation, right? Because that could happen. That's a very big thing is in any industry that you choose to do business on, you really have to be cognizant of who you take on as a client, and if you can do that client in service, right? Because you don't want to do a disservice because word of mouth is everything, and it's your reputation on the line. So that's honestly pretty. That's insane. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, radical honesty, I think.
That was 10 years, huh?
Yeah.
10 years in the making
that was definitely 10 years in the making, a lot of mistakes there. But I've learned that if I know I can't do it, or even if I'm learning in the process, I'll still tell them like, hey, I'm going to try to do this. Maybe I won't charge you as much, but I'm going to learn with you. And let's see what happens.
I really like that, honestly. It's you knowing that you don't recognize this certain format or what that business may look like, but you're willing to work with them, and you're pretty much saying, I can't guarantee the success that these other businesses have had because I absolutely understand their business. I absolutely understand their mission. I still want to help you.
Yeah.
But let's figure this out together. And that I can guarantee you, there is not a lot of companies that do that. They will continuously take business, even if they don't have the means to make that business work.
Yes. And it's interesting you say that, because at that point is that business, they could be doing it for the money because they need the money. They're in survival mode, right?
Right.
And that's totally understandable too. But I still think that businesses need to be transparent, because if not, their brand is just going to tank eventually in one way or another by not being transparent, unless they have the money, right? Because a huge corporation can do bad and still
they can cover it up or do whatever. Yeah. They can, settle or whatever that may look like for them. But how do you feel about our world going into more of an AI kind of world, right? So you pretty much say that you're the one that's going to be answering the phones, or at least not answering the phones. I'm sure that has a different process for you. But when it comes down to actually having the meetings with these clients and these businesses that are like, you know what, I need to discover who I am. I need to get my brand out. I need people to see that as soon as they see the sign, they understand what I provide and how I can be of value to the consumer of what that looks like for them.
Right. From an AI perspective?
Yeah. So there's a lot of industries right now that have pretty much taken, an individual like me or you per se, and now consumers are just talking to AI. Do you ever see your company going in that way?
We've actually had conversations as to the messaging framework that we're building. Once we build it for clients, we can actually train AI to use that framework so it can pump out content. But at that point, it's pumping out content based on their actual message. Okay. So it's not like generic conversation or generic content that's coming out that would come out for anybody. It would be targeted on their voice, their message, their position, their values. And I've actually tested it with our company because we do have a messaging framework and we've plugged it into AI, and it has been able to create some pretty solid content on that. So that would be one way that I could see business owners using it. But I don't think AI is meant to be standalone. There still has to be automated, some type of creative behind it.
A human behind it, right?
Exactly, to gear it in the right direction. I mean, I tried the other day for just like to make a logo for me, and it gave me ideas. I'm like, but I still modified it. I was like, this is a cool idea. You know, it might help with brainstorming.
Right.
But not a final image at the end. You still need that person.
That's a really good point, and that's exactly what I was hoping that you would say, because so many companies that I've seen this far, and even in the real estate industry side of things, AI is a great tool, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest, I use AI every single day of my life.
Yeah.
And whether it's for creativity, ideas, or whatever that may look like for me, you know, to make life just a little bit simpler, I definitely want people to know to utilize these things and use what's available to them. Yeah. But it's not replacing us, right? It's just another, it's pretty much like when the internet came out, right? Yes. I'm sure that it was really scary and people were like, I don't know about this internet thing, you know? But look at us now. Look at what it's provided for us and to us in a way.
And it's become a part of our lives, which is pretty cool. And that's what AI should be. It should be integrated into what we already do, what we're doing every day, things like that. Ooh. Tacos. I was told about tacos. Yeah. Honestly, I came for the tacos.
I didn't come about to talk about my business of 10 years. I came for the food.
Came for the free meal.
For anyone who's thinking on going on a similar journey like you and helping others, because that's pretty much what you are. You pretty much took yourself from working for somebody else's dream and then found your own dream, and then within that dream you're helping individuals. You're pretty much helping. Like, what you do I think is amazing, right?
Oh, thank you.
Because there's not a lot of people out there in the world that build businesses to actually help another business survive, right? Like, it's more of like a consumer base, like this, for instance. Right. They're helping people in theory to feed somebody, but what you're doing I think is completely, it's amazing, honestly, because people have these ideas and they have these things that they want to do, but they really don't know which way to take it, right? Because we're one individual.
Yeah.
So to have somebody like you that can kind of be like, okay, I see what your values are. I see where you're going with this. This is the direction that I think that you should go with this company. And I'm sure that you've seen time in and time again the success of a business. Can you give me a little bit of a story about a zero from hero? You don't have to name drop anybody, but just a company that you pretty much saw as a newborn baby, and now it's on the up and up.
Oh, wow. That's okay. So let me think of a couple. There's one I've helped coaching. Let's just say coaching goals coach. I helped her revamp her website, and it was so sad and funny because when she came to me, she's like, "I have website trauma. The last woman that was working on her website like totally ghosted her."
Oh yeah, that happens. That's life.
Yeah, and it does happen. So I did have the call with her, and then even after, she was like so hesitant to like start it.
Yeah, I'm sure PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, you know what? Whenever you're ready, like, we're here. I was answering all her questions. So finally she's like, okay, let's just do it. So I did it. And now she's so happy. She's gotten, with her website revamp, she definitely has gotten more clients that she's told me about because people understand now what it is that she's doing. The website? Yes, from just the website update.
User-friendly?
Yes, user-friendly. It has all the tools that people need to go there and get all the information of what she does. It's been pretty awesome to see her grow in that way. And she's more confident even of sending people to her website now.
Because she's proud of it. Yeah, of course. Of course she was proud of it. But before, she had no idea. She had PTSD from somebody that she thought was in her corner, which wasn't in her corner. Yeah. And she pretty much thought, well, where do I take it from here? And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to be honest, if there wasn't somebody like you that came around and helped her in her journey, she could have gave up. That is about 80% of people when they have a dream and it doesn't work and there's nobody there to support them,
Yeah.
they go back to what they were doing. It's like New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions only last 15 days.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
That's insane. That's a
crazy.
majority of people. Somebody will set themselves out for a goal
Yeah.
and they will continue it on for 15 days and they don't see a result. So then they quit.
Yeah. I actually, I don't know, well, part of the chat where they were talking about the word of the year, one of the words I changed it to is consistency, but I changed it from consistency despite of like results. And I think that is...
It's play on words.
Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because from consistency comes results.
Right. But despite of the results, you still are consistent. So even if you go to the gym in the first month, you don't see anything happen, you keep going. You have to have consistency in order to see the results because eventually you'll see them.
Oh, yeah. I was 300 pounds. I definitely know. Yeah.
I just started going back to the gym.
I've got to watch myself transform a couple
beautiful.
times in my life from decisions that I've made in my life as myself. And yeah, it's pretty much consistency. And there's no workout program and there's these gurus, right? And can they help in theory? But it's pretty much, there's no, this is what works for an individual, right? It's just, it's wanting change for yourself.
Yes.
And you know your body. You can start to see the results and then you work from it from there. But I definitely think that it is good to have coaches and people that actually, instead of trying to sell you something and say, this is exactly how you have to do it or you will fail.
Oh, I hate those.
That's wrong.
That's so wrong. Yeah.
It's not,
I agree
that's
with
not
you.
life. That's
No.
not, you can't tell somebody that you have to eat this exact thing and work out this exact way and you're going to see this exact result, because when they don't see that exact result that you promised them, they're going to give up.
Yeah. Or they're going to think something's wrong with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I had thyroid cancer 2 years ago and I have PCOS. So, like one of the, well, I don't know if you know, but one of the things is I know that the way that I work out would probably be different from someone that's healthy and like has normal hormone levels. So
those gurus wouldn't work for you.
They wouldn't work for me. I know that now, but yeah, because I had a trainer and everything like in 2020 and I wouldn't see results. And so when the pandemic hit and the gyms closed, I literally shut down. I gave up and I've gained like 40 pounds since then. But now this year I had that mind shift from doing like trauma work and just doing inner work with myself to where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it based on everything that I've learned about my body.
About you.
And about me. Yeah. And figuring out like, I'm just going to keep going.
Stephani is.
Yes.
Not who the guru person is, not who the next person is, because it's great. That worked for them, but it might not work for you, or it might.
Right.
But I honestly, what you do, I think is insane. And you are a newly first-time home buyer, right?
Yes, I am. Yes. November 15th, we moved in.
That's insane. And
yeah.
What was that journey like for you? What caused you to become a first-time home buyer? Because there's so many people in life that don't, right? I talk to a lot of people every single day, and some of these individuals will be renting in a particular area for over 10 years, 20 years, whatever it looks like for them. That's a long time to rent.
Yeah.
What stopped you from renting?
So our tenant came, or our landlord came to us and said, we need a house. Yeah. Basically. But we were really blessed because our landlord was my mom's friend. And we were living in a 1,800 square feet house over by like Tenaya and Cheyenne for 1,300.
Okay, right at the cusp of Summerlin, right at the beginning.
Yeah, like right at the beginning. It was 1,300 a month that we were paying. That was it. We paid that for 3 years, and we got comfortable. We were like, "Oh, this is awesome! This is great." But then when she told us to move, we were like,
"What?"
Yeah, balls to the wall, right? Like, what are we gonna do? We have a kid. Like, we can't. Like, what are we going to do? So we've been talking about buying a house. We were putting all of our ducks together. I paid off all my debit or my credits, cards, like everything. I got my credit score to like a 700. So we were doing all the work to do it because eventually we did want to buy. But we weren't sure if we were ready yet. But when that happened, we're like, all right, let's just try it. Talk to a mortgage person, see if we qualify. How much do we qualify for? It turned out that we did qualify. And we were able to get a house, which was pretty awesome.
It's insane.
It's crazy because we didn't think we could afford it. And I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, because people don't know what they don't know, right? And they think that home ownership, because it's not taught in school, it's not really taught anywhere until you actually want to do it.
Yeah.
But even then, there's still people that are purchasing homes every single day, and they don't really understand what that process looks like from the moment that all they know is they went and saw houses, they had to get approved, and then everything else in between gets really, really blurry. And then they get their inspection report and they're like, oh, they said there's something wrong with the house. Do we jump ship? And then they close. Yeah. So that's pretty much a normal consumer's experience when purchasing a home. Now, we need to change that, right? We need to be able to educate people that renting is used when it's the only thing that you can do, right? Yes. When it's the only option that you have at the moment. Obviously, you need somewhere to live. I understand that very well. Yeah. But you don't need thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars in order to get into a home. You honestly don't even need the best credit to get into a home. Yeah. You just need education and a goal to work towards, right? You need to understand that the first home that you buy, it's not going to be your dream home. I can guarantee you that the home that you're in isn't what you what you thought that your first home was going to be what it was. Yeah. But I can guarantee you that that home is going to be the fundamental resource to get you in to that dream home eventually, whether it's the next home that you go into, or maybe it takes 4 homes from there. But because you started with that one home, you already have your foot in the door. You already know the game, and you can use that house to leverage yourself into the next house. You can even use that house and keep it and put a renter in and gain some equity. You could pull equity out of that home and revitalize that home, push more equity into it, bring up the value of that home, and then be able to either sell it or keep it. And then if your business is thriving, get into the next home. Like, there's so many different ways that you can leverage this one piece of property that you chose to do, even though it wasn't everything that you wanted. But I'm telling you, it's my hat's off to you, because there's so many people that won't even do it. They won't, because it's cheaper to rent at the moment. And I understand that interest rates they're high right now. Prices in Vegas are high. Yeah. It's not the cheapest to get into a home, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be the cheapest time that is right now. Yeah. Because 5 years from now, who cares? Interest rates could be at 3%, but if our median price is at 700, is that really in your best interest?
Yeah. Exactly.
No.
And that was one thing that I really had to learn and understand. The realtor that I had was like, the best time to buy is now, like today.
When you can afford.
But it's like, if you can do it now, why wait? Because you can't predict what's going to happen. But the more that I saw the prices and I saw how even daily the interest rate fluctuates, I didn't know that. I really didn't know any of this process until I came into it. And I'd done website for realtors, so I knew what from a 10-foot view,
what it looked like for a realtor.
Yeah.
But not the process of buying a home. That's different. Branding a business of an individual is completely different than a process of purchasing the home.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know what it was like on my end, and that was... I mean, I'll be honest with you, even the experience from buying, I don't know if you were there at the Wisdom Circle, I was crying because of how bad the process was and how stressful it was for me.
I'm so sorry.
It was horrible. It was just so horrible for me because their realtor was horrible, not mine. Theirs was...
Yeah, it sucks. It does suck. And I hope that this industry changes for that reason, right? Because... we can't have that. This is arguably one of the most expensive purchases that somebody's going to ever do in their entire existence, whether they do it, and a majority of people only do it once or twice in their entire life. Yeah. So to have that experience, I'm sorry that was your experience, but I'm glad that you had somebody that was who you chose to do business with make that transaction still transact. Yeah. Because...
yeah. At the end of the day,
going to pay
still
its dividends.
happened,
I promise you. It's going to pay off. What advice would you give to a first-time buyer?
Ooh, I would tell them to really interview who their realtor is going to be, because we did interview a couple of realtors to make sure.
I am glad that you did.
Yeah.
Always get a second opinion.
Always. So definitely interview who your realtor is, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones that bat for you, and they're going to be your voice. Like, I learned I can't even talk to the other realtor by myself.
Yeah, no.
We were so mad. We were like, give me her number. Like,
let me talk to her.
Let me talk to her. And my realtor was like, that's not ethical, Stephanie. I can't let you do that. I'm like, then call her with you on the phone and me on the phone. Like, I was angry. I was lit. And I don't get angry. I never get angry, but I was so angry. Anyways, so I would say definitely interview who you're going to be working with, and interview your mortgage person as well.
Yes.
And shop around. You have to shop around for that.
I love that. I love that wholeheartedly. And that is honestly one of my biggest pieces of advice to my clients. Anytime that I'm ever talking to somebody that maybe I'm your first agent that you spoke to, please go talk to another one. Yes. Even if I lose that business, please go talk to another person. I want them to understand. I'll even give them multiple loan officers just so they have choices, or to go find their own, or if they choose to go do business with Wells Fargo or Chase or whatever that looks like for them, you know, because everybody has their own things that they think is going to work. But I educate them along that process. I let them know what their options are. And if that next person is going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, that's a little bit of a red flag.
Yes.
Oh no. But you can't be told exactly what you want to hear. That's not life. That's not sustainable.
That's not realistic. Yeah.
No. Let's get into our tacos though.
Okay.
I have. So this part of the segment, I just ask you some funny questions about life.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay, because she can't eat this.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm so sorry.
No, I should have told you. You would never have known. It is not your fault.
Okay. So on this side of the segment, I just like to ask some questions to kind of let the audience know who you are. It's just,
Okay.
If you could live anywhere in the world in any type of house, where and what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say it's one place.
One place, one house. And the house could be a oyster clam for all I care. That would be honestly pretty cool. Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say. Well, I've always wanted to be the Little Mermaid. Definitely Mexico. Cancun, or like somewhere in that area. Tulum, something like that.
I was going to you took that out of.
Yes.
That's the party capital.
Yeah, or the other, well, I don't really like a lot of people, so maybe the little island next to them, Cozumel, something like that. And it would definitely be a beach house, like somewhere where the ocean just comes close to you.
Okay,
I would love that. Oh, that'd be awesome. Type of house would probably be definitely zen with a lot of plants. I'm a plant person, even though I can't keep them all alive. Let's not talk about that part. But
you're a plant person that keeps 50% of them alive. Yes. We're doing well.
Okay. Yeah. I try. So definitely like a beach house. I still need everything in the house to be modern and like new, even though we're zen. And AC. That's it. Just as long as it has AC.
I love that. You're simple. You just want to be on a beach. You just want a house full of plants. And we need AC because we're in Mexico, baby, and it's hot.
I cannot be hot
either. What's the strangest feature you saw when you were touring your homes? When you were in the search of your...
Oh, the strangest features? Like any of the houses?
Yeah, any of the houses that you walked in and you were like, oh... Why is that there? So whether it was a layout or they had a weird thing in the house. What was it?
So the first house that I saw that I really liked, it was green outside, had like trees. We walk in and this house was dirty. Like it was just on the counter they had like cut tomatoes and it was just so bad. And my realtor was like, yeah, this is not show ready. This is not how it's supposed to be. And we're just like,
yeah, it's the first house you see. And he's like,
like, this is not it. It was horrible. Like, the cabinets were, like, falling off. And I swear to you, it was bad. It was bad. But the backyard looked nice.
Love that. It's just the integrity of the person of keeping the home, not so much the home. But that does, I mean, to your point, you didn't go with that home because you had already envisioned what was in that home. So I guess this is a really good tip to anybody that's going to list their home. Please make sure your home is show ready.
Yes.
Thank you. And your agent takes pictures that are not on their iPhone.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. There was
or the Android. At least do it on the iPhone. Don't do it on the
Android, iPhone.
Would you pick your same house again?
Honestly, I would. Now I would. Now that I've been living there and I made it ours, the backyard is impeccable. Like that, it's a huge backyard, and you don't see that in Vegas anymore. And it's a corner lot, so it kind of goes like that.
Oh, I love that.
And it has a shed. Like I love the house. So yes, I would probably pick it again. When I first saw it, it was like kind of like a no. But my wife was one who saw the potential in it.
I love that.
And she was like, trust me, you're going to like it. And I trust her. So I'm like, okay. Like, I was like 50-50. Yeah. And she was like, no, trust me, you're going to love it. I love it now. I go into the house. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I love my house.
And it's yours.
Yes.
Nobody's going to tell you when it's time for you to leave. Nobody's going to tell you that I need 100 more this month or this year because prices increased. There's a lot more security in that, and I'm really excited for your journey and how you get to use that house for your future endeavors.
Yes.
Advice that you would give to your past self.
There's nothing wrong with you.
No, that
would be my advice to myself. There's nothing wrong with you.
That is so honest and so true.
Oh, that kind of hurt. I don't know why that kind of hurt me.
That
like
felt.
Even, like that.
I felt
like,
that. This is probably the best way to end because I think there's a lot of people that think that there's something wrong with them, and there's not. You are you. Maybe you haven't discovered exactly who you are, but as long as you stay true to yourself, your intuition knows. You deep down know. Don't let others influence you. Influence others. Help others. Thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that comes and watches this show. Thank you so much for being on with Let's Talk About Real Estate. And today we talked a lot more about business and life, and those are so important, just like real estate is. It's who you are, who you choose to believe, who you serve, who are you going to serve. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.